The video explores a sensitive and highly controversial issue regarding the permanent closure of the border checkpoint between Thailand and Cambodia. It begins by highlighting how the checkpoint has been a significant link for many years, not only for trade but also for the flow of people, culture, and cross-border relations. The sudden decision to shut it down raises questions about the political motives behind it, the impact on local communities, and the broader consequences for bilateral relations. The presenter, Mom Korn, provides both factual information and critical commentary, guiding viewers to think about what this move means in the long term. One of the first points made is that border checkpoints are more than just security outposts. They are symbols of trust and cooperation between neighboring countries. When one is permanently closed, it signals something much deeper than administrative control. It suggests that underlying issues between the two nations have reached a level of mistrust or disagreement that cannot be solved through dialogue. This is why the closure is viewed as not just a technical matter but a political statement, one that could mark a turning point in Thailand-Cambodia relations. The video then shifts to discuss the human cost of such a decision. Along the border, many families have lived for generations with ties across both sides. Marriages, work, and trade have been part of daily life, and the checkpoint allowed these connections to function smoothly. With the gate now sealed, these families face an uncertain future. Traders who relied on cross-border commerce, small businesses that thrived on the movement of goods, and laborers who crossed daily to earn a living will all face hardship. The video stresses that this is not just about governments making decisions but about real people losing livelihoods and being cut off from loved ones. Economically, the closure could be devastating for local communities. Border trade has been one of the lifelines of small provinces, especially where industrial development is limited. Many villagers depend on the sale of agricultural products or small crafts to people across the border. By cutting off this market, the government risks increasing poverty and frustration among citizens. The presenter notes that while central authorities might argue that national security or diplomatic disputes justify the move, they rarely experience the direct consequences the same way local populations do. Another important angle presented is the political message this action sends. Closing a border is one of the strongest gestures a country can make toward its neighbor without engaging in direct confrontation. It indicates that diplomatic relations have deteriorated to a critical level. This raises concerns about whether dialogue between Thailand and Cambodia is failing or whether the closure is a tactic to pressure Cambodia in ongoing disputes. Some speculate it might be linked to territorial disagreements, trade imbalances, or even internal politics where leaders use foreign policy moves to gain support at home. The video also encourages viewers to reflect on the historical relationship between Thailand and Cambodia. These two nations share centuries of intertwined history, culture, and sometimes rivalry. While there have been conflicts and tensions in the past, the modern era has generally leaned toward cooperation for mutual benefit. A move as drastic as closing a checkpoint permanently risks undoing years of progress in building trust. If left unresolved, it could set back regional integration efforts and create fresh waves of nationalism on both sides. Beyond politics and economics, there is also a symbolic loss. Borders in Southeast Asia are often porous and have allowed cultural exchanges that enrich both nations. Festivals, religious practices, and traditions have flowed freely across the checkpoint, strengthening bonds between communities. Shutting the gate does not only stop goods or people but also interrupts the cultural dialogue that helps reduce stereotypes and build empathy. The presenter makes a poignant observation that when borders close, misunderstandings grow, and when misunderstandings grow, conflicts often follow. The closing part of the video reflects on possible solutions. It suggests that both governments need to prioritize dialogue and find compromises before the closure escalates into broader hostility. International mediators, regional organizations like ASEAN, or even grassroots movements might play a role in reopening discussions. While national interests are important, the video stresses that leaders must never forget the everyday people whose lives are most affected by these high-level political maneuvers. In summary, the video offers a deep analysis of what seems like a technical decision but in reality is a major diplomatic signal. The permanent closure of the checkpoint is more than a local administrative act. It is a reflection of strained bilateral ties, an economic blow to border communities, and a symbolic break in cultural exchange. The presenter urges viewers to see beyond the surface and recognize that such actions rarely solve problems, they usually create new ones. The message is clear: if both nations truly value peace, cooperation, and prosperity, they must reopen channels of dialogue and avoid letting politics destroy the bonds that ordinary people have worked so hard to maintain.